How did I not realize you were alive?
Hide it. I don't want people knowing that. By the way, welcome back to a very special episode of America Stuff. We've got a very special guest, Jeremy West.
Hello?
This guy.
We're talking about chilies. We're talking about other stuff.
You guys want to talk chilies? I'll talk chilies.
Yeah.
I just now learned that the podcast is called America Stuff, so
Yeah.
we're off to a hell of a start.
It's actually the only way you can find it is if you know the name. So.
Oh, all right.
Or if one of us sends it to you.
Yeah.
That's a good way to find it.
But if you're looking on your own, it's difficult.
Oh, yeah.
It's very difficult.
It's exclusive.
You guys like shadow banned?
Probably.
After that episode with Scott last week, we came close.
Yeah.
We came close.
Did he use some no-no words?
He's got
Some
similar
no-no concepts.
opinions of homosexuals as Ben Bradshaw.
Oh. Like on the fence as to whether or not they might be one?
A little bit of that.
Oh.
I'm joking.
One would imagine. A lot of riff-raff talk out there.
I mean, you know how it is.
I feel like Chili Joe, that'd be a cool nickname.
I suppose, but then I would feel like I would be expected to bring a pot of chili at least somewhere.
I feel like you'd be like a low-level Batman villain, like Chili Joe. Like you'd have a bunch of henchmen because you were feeding them chili, and like that's how you raise the orphans, and then you would do the crime with them.
Or I could always wear a winter jacket and be like, it's a little chilly in here.
Orphans raised on chili would make like a great, just like a gang of little farters that you go around and terrorize people with.
True.
You know?
Yeah, like you'd bring them all to like church and they'd fart, and then when all the people left, you could steal the tithings.
I think that's one way to do it for sure.
Gas them out.
Yeah.
These are just ideas for you, Joe, in case the comedy doesn't work out.
In case I need to move to Gotham.
Yeah.
In case the comedy doesn't work out.
I heard Gotham's got a great comedy scene.
I feel like Chili Joe could be a good food truck name, too.
Ooh.
Chili Joe would be a great stage name if you ever wanted to
Yeah.
go down that route.
Could head that direction. If I ever get into the black circuit.
It's always so hard, like when somebody's at an open mic for their first time and they want to be introduced with a stage name, and it's like you don't even have an act yet to be. Like,
There's 7 people here, and they're here every week. They're gonna laugh at you and not in the way you want.
right? Yeah. Who do you think you are, Glenn?
It's like showing up and playing like one pickup basketball game, and like the next time you show up, you have like a monogram jersey,
Yeah.
like
right,
all
right,
the stuff. It's
right.
like, well, it's like it's such a hallmark of people that get into hobbies like in their 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have so much money, but they just have no idea where to start. So
Right,
like, if
right,
I just
right.
spend money, I'll be in the hobby. It's like, no, you got to spend time.
Yeah.
Money's not what gets you into the group. It's time.
Time is money.
If you're watching this and you're a new comic, wondering what you should do,
Well, don't run the light, and then don't start a chant about running the light.
It's very good advice.
yep, I would say
New
keep
comics.
trying and don't run the light would be my 2 pieces of advice. If you just happen to be a new comic that was watching this.
I mean, if you go over by a few seconds here and there, it's fine. But when the host is standing by the side of the stage, flashing a light in your face, that's a pretty good indication that you should stop.
True.
How long did that run?
I think he went at least 2 minutes over.
Yeah, because I showed up sober. I hadn't smoked at all yesterday for the first time ever, and I showed up and saw the light. And then I was like, man, this seems like this has gone on for like 4 minutes after the light. That's the longest minute.
I mean, I don't know. I lose all sense of time when at Union anyway. So, I mean, he could have ran it by 15 seconds, and it feels like 2 minutes. Because it's like, you're on somebody else's time now. Yeah, it pisses me off.
I know that Scott was standing up there for a minute, and then he started just like looking at me like, what am I supposed to do about this?
That's the first time we played somebody off in a long time.
First time we had music in a long time.
That's true.
It was nice.
It adds an element.
Yeah, it really does.
I started off the night like I wanted to give everybody their own theme song, and then I realized that there were like 3 or 4 people that I didn't know at all on the lineup, so I didn't know what to do for a theme song. So I just wound up playing that why can't I think of his name? Ty Siegel.
Ty Siegel.
Everyone's a winner. It's a great song, and I don't know why it just hit me. I'm like, I'm just gonna press play on this every time somebody goes up and gets off the stage and just let it run.
That's what at the show in Sheboygan for a while I was trying to like have everyone like send the song they wanted, and it was like that's so disjointed. It's like all over the place. It doesn't create like a theme, and it's way more work.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it might make you feel good to go up to that song, but in the long run, nobody else in that room cares at all. They're like, get to the jokes. We didn't come here to listen to your favorite Pantera song play for 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Also, the best walk-up songs for comedy, a little goofy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My favorite go-to is "I Know What Boys Like" by the Waitresses.
Ooh,
That's a great tune.
Yeah, it's catchy. It hits, and it's not too serious. I'm not walking out like fucking about to be a rock star tonight.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what. Yeah, I was talking with somebody the other day. It's like you don't want like to be too anything on the stage. Like if you're a very pretty woman, like I would argue, like probably don't bring that up unless it's like super integral to your act. Like if you're super like handsome, like I was saying, like the one time when Jack went up when he was dressed very nice, I was like, oh man, you got to get him right away or not, because people are gonna be in the crowd like, fuck that handsome guy.
As opposed to when he's not dressed nice, but he still wears a Rolex.
Yeah, Jack. But yeah, it's just, you know, the like you said, Jeremy, it's like the jokes are the most important thing.
Yeah, of course they are.
So it's like try to hide everything else.
I mean, to a point.
Like if I could go up there in a burqa.
There's no like hard and fast rules, I don't think. I mean,
no, but generalities.
yeah.
Like if we're telling like a new person, like in general.
Yeah, in general, don't run the light or start chants.
Or like make it about like your stage name from the start.
Yeah.
I
Unless
mean,
you got a good stage name like Chili Joe.
Chili Joe is solid. But I feel like you have to let comedy give you a nickname. Like you can't go into it with one and then try to create a career around it.
You can never create your own nickname in any situation.
You shouldn't.
I think
right?
Seinfeld told us that pretty well.
Yeah.
Call me T-Bone. Didn't work out for George. It won't work out for you.
No.
Oh.
Doesn't work out for anybody, I don't think.
Actually, I think I did ask you to call me the bad boy Traverse City Comedy.
Oh yeah, you did. Well, the exception that proves the rule. What do you do?
You have to do it really subtly in a bathroom. You can't like just announce it in front of everyone.
Yeah, you gotta whisper it. If you want a nickname, you have to find Jeremy West in a bathroom, whisper it in his ear while his hands are full.
Oh, it's through a stall. It's
okay.
above board. You don't want to get urinal to urinal in that bathroom.
No, it's
Dude, that-
shoulder to shoulder in there.
That bathroom is a disaster in the summer. You do not want humidity that comes from pee.
No, I mean honestly, I think
Stings my eyes.
they should just cut off the back half of
Breathe in
that
it.
building and let us just piss in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be more sanitary.
If they
than
just
the
had like a
current
trough
situation.
that went through a hole in the wall and the pee went out and you just peed into like a that.
If they just put a curtain in front of the storm drain, I'd be down.
Yep.
It's fine.
It gets better in the winter. But yeah, in the summer that heat is.
It's brutal.
I really liked yesterday how they had the little door window thing open.
Yeah, they usually have that open when we get there, but they close it when it cools off at night.
Yeah.
And last week, there was a guy doing coke in that bathroom.
Oh.
That happens.
Off
quite,
of what?
Yeah, that probably happens more often
more
than
than
last
you'd
week.
want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably off of
Off the sink?
probably off of the tank of the toilet. I would
Oh no.
imagine. That's a
Gonna have a panic attack.
That's a road I'm glad I never went down.
I think the drugs kill the germs, or you just really don't have to worry about germs when you're living that fast and free.
I mean, if you're doing coke off the back of the Union Street toilet, I think your immune system's probably pretty strong.
Yeah,
You can't just like buy like a little mirror that you carry with you to do the cocaine off of?
I mean, this is
You
logic
could.
we're talking about here.
I've never done cocaine, but I just feel like maybe I shouldn't. I'm putting a lot of logic there that would probably
Well,
disappear in the wind.
I don't think like Union Street's your regular bar, say, and then you know, you're a bit of a fiend and you used to just going in the bathroom bumping up. You don't have anything on you.
Yeah, make do.
Yeah, that's
Guess so.
that's the way of the cokehead.
That's like the cokehead's version of using like Bible papers to roll a joint. Like desperate times call for desperate measures.
Well, I feel like sometimes, too, it's not that they necessarily plan to go out and do coke that night. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't leave the house thinking, I'm going to go get some coke, so I'm bringing my mirror and my straw. They just happen to be somewhere, and somebody's like, oh, hey, I got coke. And they're like, well, goddamn.
Well, okay, so why doesn't that person who's got the Coke just bring the mirror? Like, somebody needs...
Just keep it on you.
Yeah, somebody brought the Coke out with them. Somebody should have brought a mirror.
I mean, you got a flat surface somewhere, right? CD case in the car or something.
I mean, I think it's also, you need a sturdy surface, I would imagine.
Oh, because you're going to be leaning into it probably, and you're not super stable.
Yeah, and you can't really carry around something
that big
unconspicuously.
You just have like a backpack on you. Like, what's in the backpack? Like,
maybe some sort of fold-up device.
Yeah, like a small coffee table that folds down, like from IKEA.
We're missing the most obvious answer, right? Phone screen.
You just put it down and then do it off that? Yeah.
Just chop up lines right there. That's a... I mean, I bet it's less sanitary than the back of a toilet, but it seems...
Yeah, at least
it's your
unsanitary.
Not everybody else's.
Okay, so now it's making me think, like, what if you just sold covers for the back of toilets? Saying, like, hey, are you going to be doing cocaine off the back of a toilet? Grab our toilet cocaine covers.
I thought you were going to say a cover for your phone that you can do cocaine off of. Like it holds it and perhaps a little, like, half pipe.
Now we're talking.
It's got, like, 4 little half pipes in it.
Now we're talking.
Or it comes in different size half pipes, like beginner, medium, and pro. Damn.
Right, we are. Payday, midweek, in between paychecks, little key bump holsters. I don't do cocaine. I've never done cocaine.
Yeah.
In the Union Street bathroom.
Especially not in the Union Street bathroom.
Ew.
Definitely smoked and vaped my fair share of weed in there, though.
Why not just go outside to the alley?
I mean, I do.
I just vape out in the open. Just wait for someone to call me out.
They're not going to.
No, they gave up on that. I feel like there was like...
I think when the bartender started doing it, I was like, yeah, I think I can get away with this.
But there was like a solid 6 months after weed was legal where they kind of cracked down on vaping, like everywhere. They're like, you can't do that in here.
We know what you're up to.
It's nicotine. And they're like, yeah, sure. And then like 6 months after that, they were like, who cares?
Like, the retail industry doesn't understand it was all run on weed all the time anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's way better that it's vapes now. Now we're not like, oh, this guy's brushing his teeth and washing his hands again.
Yeah, right. Just get it done quick. Get right back to work.
It's good times.
Not hate your entire life all day. I don't see a problem with it.
I know. Like, if they expect me to work retail sober, they've lost their goddamn minds.
I don't. Yeah. At any retail job that drug tests their employees, I want to say this into the camera. Fuck you. You're wrong for that.
You are wrong for that. You're already beating us down for our labor.
You should supply them with the drugs so they don't have to spend what little money you pay them on said drugs that they need to do the job.
Yeah.
Do you know that's how coffee break started?
Yep. I'm saying we just continue the coffee break.
Yeah.
Bring it up to the next level.
Wow, you guys are matching each other's autism.
Was it World War I or World War II that started? I think it was 2.
I think it was 1.
Was it?
I think it was 1 because I think it kind of coincided with the manufacturing booms for the first,
if you're not familiar,
over to war.
Women were doing the work and they weren't as big and strong as men and they needed a little boost. Gave them a little coffee and they're like, holy shit, these women are working like crazy. So they actually mandated that they take a break a couple times a day to drink stimulants so they could work harder.
So you're saying if a woman's drinking coffee legally, I can hit her?
Joe does not legally represent the views of this podcast.
I think that's a gray area, though. I mean,
depends. Have you had
it's
any
a performance-enhancing drug?
Have you had any caffeine yourself?
We need clarity on this.
Not in 8 hours.
All right. What's the half-life on caffeine?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Science.
It's quick. It's too quick.
It's too quick. Hopefully, it'll make women fast enough to not get hit by Joe.
It's true. If they're all caffeinated up, you gotta lead them a little bit with the punches, otherwise you might miss.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. I mean,
every once in a while at the Muay Thai gym I went to, you'd get paired up with like drills with a woman.
Oh boy.
I never liked that. There was like a couple that were really good, but like the beginners were always nuts because like they wouldn't understand power. They're like, oh, I'm a woman. So they'd throw way too hard. There'd be like, there was like 3 instances I remember where I tell women like, you gotta slow down. Like this is a drill. Like we're trying to move through space correctly, not kill each other.
Right.
They're like, I'm just a girl. It's like, you just fucking...
You just had some coffee, you dumb bitch.
Just kick them over.
There's a wait outside the Starbucks. Who wants to go?
So yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that like if we have a mandated coffee break, right? Like
Yeah.
we legally get a 15-minute break in the morning and the afternoon. Tack on an extra 5 minutes and let us fire one up, you know?
I statistically get more tips when I'm selling at the dispensary when I'm high than when I'm sober.
I'm much
Like
more likely
20%.
to want to be around people if I'm high.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you just don't need that much of your brain to do retail. Like the
No.
hard part about retail is like you need your body to be there, but your mind to not be.
Yeah.
And weed does a great job of letting you disassociate that.
It's very true.
So
There's something about getting done with a 10-hour shift and realizing that, like, oh, did that just happen? Because you were just, like,
just kind of in the zone.
off somewhere
Yep.
mentally.
And it's like there's so many people that are bad at drugs that give it a bad name.
Yep. It's always the minority that gets, like, elevated into the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's like, oh, everything's bad because one thing happened to that person. It's like, well, statistically, that guy was an idiot and you need to shut up.
Well, there's like 5 of us at work that get pretty high all the time.
Mm-hmm.
One of us cannot handle it. Like a customer will like he'll be checking them out and they're like, oh, I gotta go to the ATM real quick, and they'll be at the ATM and he'll just like wander off and like go take a break, and they'll be like, what are you doing? Like this person be like, my bud tender left, and be like, what? He's just outside smoking a cigarette. It's like, dude, you can't handle it.
It just fully activates the ADHD.
Well, that's what like I don't like a lot of laws like for like on the road, like the idea that everyone's blood alcohol or everyone's like amount of weed is the same. I think it should be like a case by like it shouldn't be, because if somebody's really tired, I'm more scared from somebody that's been up for 24 hours than I am from somebody that smoked a joint.
Oh, 100%.
It should be, if you break the law, if you're speeding, there should be a punishment. It shouldn't matter why you were speeding.
Right.
You know, if you crash, there should be a certain level of punishment you get for getting into a crash, and it shouldn't matter if you were on cocaine or whatever. This is America. We're fucking free.
America.
If you can handle it, you can handle it, and if you can't, you're going to get punished.
I've always said, like, when you get your, maybe not the same time, so you get your driver's license to like 16, right? And then you're not allowed, but I think you take your initial driver test to get your license, and then at 21, you take another one to figure out where your tolerance is.
Oh, yeah.
And then that is your DUI limit. Because 0.08 for some people is like nothing.
That one of the things that excites me about VR is stuff like that. Like you could do a lot of stuff like that. Like when it gets better, like 1 or 2 stages better, you could do all of that stuff. Because I think like, you know, when you're, not all these people have these intrusive thoughts, but you're driving, you're like, what if I just drove this car off the thing?
Oh, yeah, I have that one sometimes.
You could scratch so many of those itches with like the next generation of VR. You could be like, what would it be like to drive in LA traffic like super high? You'd take a bunch of mushrooms, pop the headset on, and you'd feel exactly like it's close. We're like 1 or 2 generations from that.
I mean, that's a really good idea, because where we're at now, if I'd be like, what's it like to drive in rush hour traffic really, really high? I'm probably going to go get high in rush hour traffic.
Just be a thought that doesn't go anywhere for me.
You know, I think
There was
the way my mind works is like traffic's going to slow down anyway. So
This guy's driving sideways.
I don't endorse or recommend any of this, by the way.
There was a lady I worked with. Her first name was Sadie. I won't say her last name, in Portland. And she bought a dab rig one night from work and dabs and brought it home and had never dabbed before. And the next day she was telling everyone the story and laughing about how she got on the highway going the wrong way after dabbing and then trying to drive to work.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, we need to not be the apex predator on this planet anymore, because it's letting us we would tighten up and be stronger if we were getting rid of some of these squirrely people.
I couldn't agree more. I remember, like, the first time I did a dab, I threw up, and then I had to go lay down in a dark room for like half an hour to let the world stop spinning. I wouldn't have driven.
First time I did a dab, I had to go back to school.
Jesus.
What grade are we talking about here, Chili Joe?
It was senior year.
Oh, okay.
It was respectable. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think dabs even existed in my senior year.
It was I know they were around before that, but it was like, I think it was just getting to this area that it was happening. Right around, it was 2015.
I mean, I started seeing concentrates for the first time probably around like 08.
Okay, so maybe not.
I mean, that's earliest memory I have, I think. And that was back when it was all like butane honey oil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would just hear rumors about it, like, "Oh, earwax is coming to town," and then you'd see it. And you're like, I don't know what that is, but I don't want to smoke it. And then you did. You're like, okay, more of that, please.
Oh yeah. Yep. My dog, if she like hears me taking dabs, because back in the day they were so hot and they hurt so bad and you'd have to lay down, that like our whole thing would be like people would come over and we'd do a dab, and then the person that took a dab would like lay down with the dog for a minute, and then the next person would take a dab and you just lay down, just pet her belly, and she just lay there so happy and just be like, I can't fucking breathe and my lungs hurt so bad.
It was also like nobody knew how to take a dab back then.
Right.
It was just like, okay, we got this titanium nail.
Yep.
You want to go when it's red hot. You
Yeah,
want to
just-
make sure you're getting all that dab.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
You don't want to leave an oil spill.
yeah. I
Torch
just took
for
the
like
torch
10
off. Go,
minutes.
go, go.
Oh my god. I feel like a lot of people got horribly injured in the early days of dabbing. Either from like just like trying the dabbing process itself, or trying to make dabs at home and just blowing their whole shit up.
There was some people getting blown up back in the day.
Sacrifices were made.
And it's good. Thinned out the gene pool.
We learned.
Yeah.
Well, the whole reason why like BHO dabs even became a thing was because like a whole crop out west got ruined with rain.
So they tried to just salvage what they could.
So some scientist was like, what the fuck are we going to do? And he's like, wait, I got an idea. We wash it with butane. It kills all the stuff that's not good. Pulls out all the stuff that gets you high.
Huh.
And like the first thing, do you guys ever take any dabs off like glass nails?
I'm sure I have.
A few times, yeah.
Like those little nails in like a little dome?
Oh yeah.
That was the worst. Like that was even worse than the titanium because it was so finicky, like hitting the nail and then dropping it and then it's like, it's too much.
Yeah, God only knows what like hot silica is. That can't be good for your lungs.
Glass is pretty inert.
I don't know anything.
Glass is one of the few things I don't worry too much about.
Are you an alchemist, John?
A little bit of a scientist. I dabble.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
Why don't you dabble on that?
This isn't my weed podcast. Let's get focused. Jeremy, how do you
Yes.
feel about anime?
And I'm not a fan, if I'm honest.
What are you, some kind of faggot?
It's not that I hate it, and it's not like
God damn it,
Alright,
Joe.
you can leave it in. I don't care.
You're leaving those.
It's my
in for now.
career.
Yeah, it's your career for now.
no, we're not allowed to say. Oh,
I mean, we are, but we're trying to be friends of the LGBT community.
Yeah, it's a.
no, I am, but
It's
I'm also
considered
a
a
fan
no-no
of
word.
words.
I'm not a disruptive woman.
Yeah.
It's a burdensome one.
I do get
I'm
in
not
there.
disruptive
and
or
disrupt.
burdensome.
What the hell were we talking about right before?
Why do you hate anime?
But I don't hate anime. It doesn't vibe with me.
You hate the Japanese
I mean, I drive a Toyota
and a Lexus.
and a Lexus. Love the Japanese.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I think what it is like I grew up on like American style animation, and there's something about the Japanese anime style that just doesn't quite. It's almost like it's too real. you know?
Okay.
Like
Gives
I
you
like
like an
my
uncanny
cartoons
valley.
to be cartoony.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is.
Mm.
But I mean, I've definitely like watched and enjoyed like some Studio Ghibli stuff. It's not like it grabs me and I have to like watch everything.
Howl's Moving Castle is coming out to theaters again in October.
Oh,
Ooh.
It's basically a
What's the-
story about a wizard who has a moving castle to avoid paying taxes.
So I can't justify going to see that in the theater when I can watch it, stream it on HBO for free in my home.
God damn it. I'm about to freak out. First, you're saying that. Okay, first of all, anime is amazing. Second of all, it is so much better in theaters, Joe. You have lost your goddamn mind.
Yeah, but I can't even use my AMC pass on it because it's considered a foreign film. So I got to pay $15 a ticket to go see Howl's Moving Castle.
Can I take you to see Howl's Moving Castle when it comes out? My treat.
Yeah, I'd go. Yeah.
All right.
I'll buy popcorn even.
Okay.
I just watched a date happen.
Yeah, you can come too.
I might.
It's my favorite one out of the whole group. As a man that lives in a van and hates paying taxes, Howl speaks to me
Are
See
you
that.
also a bird person?
a little bit.
Yeah. Some of my friends call me bird nerd.
The bird nerd.
You're an expert in bird law?
Nah. No, I don't know. I memorize patterns and things, and I can see a bird from far away and go, oh, that's that kind of bird.
Would seem Matt Zerilli is a bit of a bird nerd these days.
Yeah, Yeah, I think he quit comedy to just watch his bird feeder all day.
I was gonna say bird kink.
That's pretty tight, though.
And then give the birds names.
Yeah, more of a bird kink.
I've been thinking about getting a bird feeder after watching his.
Actually, we got one of those ones that it's actually just like Zorilli's. It's suction cups to the outside of the window. Dude, the cats will sit there and watch that thing.
Oh yeah.
Like it's high cinema all day. It's hilarious.
That's just like watching the Food Network for them.
Yeah. Well, what's great is like the chickadees, for some reason, have the most attitude and give the least fucks. Like they'll fly right up in the cat's face and be like, "What, bitch? I'm eating this bird seed. What are you gonna do?"
How do you feel about glass?
Any other bird, they like as soon as they see a cat, they're like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm out of here." But I've noticed the smaller the bird, the bigger the attitude. Like we have hummingbirds out at our place, and they will sit in trees and just cuss at you. Like as soon as their little like sugar water thing is empty, they just sit up in the trees and bitch until we fill it back up.
Or if it's like a reaction time thing, like they know they can't get caught because they're so quick.
It might be.
Smaller you are, the faster your reaction time is in the animal kingdom.
Like a flea.
Very quick. They actually experience time differently too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the larger you are, the slower you experience time.
I believe that.
Wow.
I'm not smart enough to explain it, but I watched a really cool video that made me say, whoa, a bunch when I was smoking weed a few nights ago.
So
It's like I wonder. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm just trying to figure out a blue whale's perception of time and just trying to get into their head, I guess.
How long does a blue whale typically live?
Probably not that long, considering they're huge.
Oh, no way. They probably live
They
like
have to live
120
decently
years.
I thought they
Okay,
had
go
like a similar lifespan to humans.
Yeah, I would assume like 70 to 100.
Oh, I bet slightly more. I bet you they're like 1 to 120.
I wonder if they experience like a similar lifespan, if they experience time in a similar way.
Oh.
80 to 90 years.
Dang.
I mean,
I said 70 to 100, so that's pretty good.
so you think about something like a mayfly, right? That lives like 24 hours. Do they experience like an entire life? Like, does that 24 hours feel like 80 years to them?
It feels like a lifetime.
It doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
if time is.
they don't know what more than a day feels like.
Yeah, it just feels like a lifetime.
Is this thing loaded? Because I don't feel like I'm high enough for this conversation.
Well, this is, yeah. I don't think you're coming through as hot as the other. I mean, we knew that from
I
the
mean,
start.
yeah. I just have to.
Yes, green.
I keep waving
button.
it around. Is what the problem is.
Yes.
Green button. This spaceship bongs are freaking me out, man.
It's called an E-rig.
Oh, yeah. Double fist in the mics.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hit that one more time. It's still green.
I mean, the mechanics are similar, but it's different, right?
Different how?
Because like tells you when the hit's done.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's just letting you know it's no longer supplying heat.
I worry that I'm getting to the kids these days stage in my life. When I was your age, we didn't have that kind of technology.
I know. Back in my day, we had to look like we were doing meth and crack, and we were using big
That's
blow
true.
torches.
Yeah.
And people would be like, so many people now are so much more willing to dab because of the e-rigs.
Oh, yeah.
There was such an aversion to it because it looked like drugs.
Well, I mean, when you went from like the kind of perception of like dabs and earwax and all that shit to like essential oils and start talking about like terpenes and like
Ice water hash.
yeah, it starts to become more of a like boutique artisan thing rather than drugs.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's so much stuff like that like we love, but we're also like afraid of and want to push away, like sex and drugs. Like we love them, we enjoy them, but then we're like,
yeah, don't talk about it in public. Can't let the kids hear anything that might be untoward. I don't get it. I work with like mostly adults, like 18 and over kids. And
I don't think
like,
you're an adult until you're 25.
I don't either,
Yeah.
but the point being is like they still kind of police language, and I'm like, we're bothering people about the fuck word. Like, aren't we all adults around here? I'm like, that shit bothers
Like
me.
saying fuck?
Yeah.
What's there? I'd be interested to hear why.
What minority is attacked by the word fuck?
Literally none.
Yeah, we should be able to say that.
It's just that leftover, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Puritan horseshit.
Oh, are they like coming from like a Christian bent?
I don't know what they're coming in from.
That's so interesting.
It's just like to be in a place of work and get frustrated and like, ah, fuck. And then you hear another grown adult go, language. You're like, excuse the fuck out of me, you know?
Damn. Yeah. That seemed fairly innocuous.
Yeah. It kind of bums me out that I have a patch on my backpack that I bring to work every day that says fuck around and find out on it. Like, if you want to take it off, you can, but I ironed it and stitched it.
But also read the message before you take it off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a sign there. I just think, like, all the time, it's like when people are too obsessed with others' lives, it usually means they don't have much going on to occupy themselves in their own.
It's the illusion of control, right? Like, people who want to control every situation and want to have control of their own lives probably don't, and so they derive, like, some kind of sense of satisfaction by controlling other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that's no way to live, man.
Nope. Deal with your own shit first.
Bingo.
You heard it here first, America.
That's right.
Yeah, no one's ever said that before.
I think this one's gonna blow up.
Yeah, this one's hot.
Super original. And
I'm gonna title it Jordan Peterson's and John Reed's 13 New Rules to Life.
I mean, I think we could probably dethrone. Nope, got nothing. All the podcasts I listen to are doing substantially better than.
That's probably why you listen
I
to
will
them.
be. Yeah.
Everyone's like, is there any podcast where 3 people are just gonna ramble with no real point?
I know. I don't feel like this has ever
There's
been done
actually
before in the
quite a
history
few
of
of them. Yeah.
podcasting. Where 3 white guys just get high and talk about nothing.
Oh, we're trying to talk about anime now and again.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with any animes?
Not super familiar.
So I actually brought a little note today, Joe. Something about anime that I want to talk about that I personally love.
Okay.
And maybe I can educate
All
Mr.
right.
Jeremy West on
Let's
it.
go. Or maybe I can chime in not knowing anything.
So in most animes, and I don't know exactly what I would call them, I was just thinking about this today, but there's a common theme, and it's very much like the hero's journey, but there's that training arc where something bad happens and the hero has to go away and isolate themselves and develop some new skill to come back and deal with the problem that they formerly couldn't deal with.
Oh, so the Batman thing.
Yeah, well, Batman did it. I mean, like Luke Skywalker did it when
Comic
he
books
trained.
are American anime.
What?
Comic books are American
Oh,
anime.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
American manga, which would
Yeah.
be the
But
equivalent.
it's all that, like, that hero's journey idea, and it's such a common thing. Like Goku did it when he had to fight Vegeta. Like he did it a few different times.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of the whole point of the show.
But it's such a common reoccurring theme, and I think one of the reasons why I like that is because it's like, for like creating art, it's such a beautiful concept of like do or die. Like they go away to do this and they have to train, and something has to go right or else everything fails. The stakes are so high. And it's like, what a beautiful idea, because so rarely in life are we able to dedicate ourselves to something like that. Like I would love to go, like when I was thinking about like Goku going away in that training thing, like just to be able to like not have to work, not have to pay bills, not have to worry about like even cooking for yourself. Like if you could just go away for 3 months and just work on jokes, or
Just to have an enemy to vanquish.
yeah, but then when you came back, those jokes would have to be so good you could make a living with them, or
Yeah,
else
exactly.
that he would be homeless. Like, would you be willing? Like in anime, they always take that risk. They're never just like, you know what, fuck, like Vegeta's gonna come, he's gonna be the ruler, and we're just gonna have to be his subjects. They're always like, we're gonna fucking train, we're gonna fight him, we're gonna win this fight. But like so often in like America, because like we're beholden to the stakeholders, like we got to do both. We got to do as much comedy as we can, like while making a living.
I like to picture myself going away, training underneath a waterfall, practicing punches every day, and then walking back into Union Street really dramatically, and just being like, "So, like, do you guys' dick ever itch?" Like,
That'd be a great montage video.
it would.
I wish there was more waterfalls in Traverse City.
I think you got to go to UP for that.
Yeah, do we have... We have to
Akiak.
have a waterfall.
I was just recently at the largest waterfall in the Lower Peninsula, Akiak.
Where's that at?
It's by Alpena.
Okay.
It'd be about a 2.5 hour drive from here. So I mean, if you got out of work early, you could zip over there, throw some punches, and then come on back.
Yeah, potentially.
Just take off work a little early.
I think I'd have to like spend like a week. You know.
Oh,
I mean, that's a 5-hour round trip. I mean, that's
I didn't realize how many punches you were gonna throw for
that's
this arc.
a whole day.
Well, I gotta sit underneath the waterfall for a while.
And that's about as high as the waterfall is. Like if you sat under it, it might be like
I gotta reach enlightenment.
dribbling on your shoulders. It's only like
I feel like you got to be able to stand under the waterfall to really send this thing home, you know?
Well, I feel like he's gonna need to find inner peace before he starts throwing. So sit
Yeah, no,
first,
I'm
and then
gonna-
once you have it, then
I
throw.
think I'm gonna meditate underneath the waterfall until I can manage to bust in my pants without touching myself. That is true enlightenment.
Did you see the last podcast by chance,
I
Jeremy?
did not see the last podcast.
There was
I
a lot.
talked about this on stage last week too.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, I wasn't there for that bit.
Yeah, you never pay attention to what I have to say.
No, I don't ever pay attention.
You sassy bitch.
I think was that the week where I bombed so hard I had to run out to my van and cry and take a dab before I came back.
I don't know. That's how I felt last night.
Well, that's what I did last night too. The last 2 weeks I've done so bad. I had to immediately leave the stage and go outside and get high before I could even come back and face anybody.
Hey, new guys, if you want to be accepted, laugh at my jokes. It'll help.
That's how.
It was just like a really dead audience, and then when I got off stage and looked around, it was like, this is all comedians and new people, and it's like, okay, got some enemies out here now.
Oh, yeah. That room is. It's good because it's humbling. Like, I go up and do your room in Sheboygan at the Hive, and it's like that room is a cheat code because those people are there for the laughs. You could say damn near anything, and those people are happy.
You get the timing right.
Yeah, and then ride that wave. You're feeling high, and then you go back.
Come back to
Tuesday
Union. Just
you're
eat
just
shit.
like, I'm gonna crush these people, and you go up there, and you're like, bah, and they're like, and you're like, I needed this. Actually, this is good.
Nope.
Yeah, actually, no. I got a good 10 more years in me before I give up.
I'm trying to remember the last place that I really, really bombed. Oh man, it was an Elks Lodge in Charlevoix.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like the first show I did on the road after COVID. And as I got booked by a dude I'd never met who lived out in California. He had all these rules for this show. He's like, it's got to be PG-13. You can't have old people jokes, no drug talk, this and that.
Well, I mean, yeah, Charlevoix would just be a tough crowd.
I just kept like whittling down my material, and I'm like, I have like 4 minutes.
Hi,
to
I'm
fit
Jeremy
within
West.
This guy's parameter, and so I was flustered before I even got up there, and then get there, and like the people that are actually running the show are like super cool, and they're like, we don't give a fuck what you talk about, and this and that. So like I had prepared all this clean material, but then I was like, oh, let's go. And then I just got scrambled, and I couldn't get a fucking joke to and I was hosting, so it was like,
Oh.
fuck. I was too rusty. I shouldn't have taken the gig. But also that gig sucked.
Yep.
I'm not naming names because you would know some of them.
It's tough out there. Well, I was like, at least we don't have, like, when I was in Texas, like, some of those mics were insane.
That's what I've heard.
Like, you're going up for 3 minutes in front of 40 other comics, and that's it. Just other comics.
Oh, yeah.
And, like...
they don't give a fuck about what you have to say because they're working on their own shit.
Yeah, it was so... I wouldn't say fun to bring Lily down there, but, like, after starting in Portland and then moving here, like, even last night, even the worst Union Street mic is still, like, if you're undeniable, you can still get something out of them.
Right.
So there's always that. But, like, at some of those mics, like, you literally have to be, like, at the... like almost at the national touring level to get anything.
Yeah.
Anything. She was like, because she comes to a lot of the Union Street mics.
Sure does.
She's probably there at 80% of them. She went to the first one in Texas the first night, and she's like, because I went out with Brian Dreyer, and we just went out to one, and it was like one of the slow nights, and we didn't sign up early enough for the other one, so he's like, yeah, you can always get on this one, and it was just fucking. We waited for like 2.5 hours to go up. It was.
And I'm sure everybody's bombing too.
Oh, and the mix in Traverse City, I say this all the time, like pound for pound, like hands down the best group of people I've ever seen for comedy. Because there's very few people that go up on stage where they don't have something. Like everybody up there has something that impresses me in some way, whether it's like a really good premise or like incredible delivery. And like most of them have, like most of the people there have, like from what we've seen in Sheboygan, can do 10 to 15 pretty comfortably.
Yeah, most of
There
them
is
do.
so much mental illness in big
Oh,
cities for it. It's all just insane people.
I mean,
It's
comedy and mental illness are next door neighbors,
two sides of
unfortunately.
the same coin. But
Actually, Katie and I had that. I thought it was a pretty enlightening thought that she had that some people really just love to hear their own voice through a microphone, and comedy is probably the lowest barrier of entry, besides maybe karaoke, to being able to hear your own voice on a microphone. So, open mics attract narcissists like flies to honey.
I was having a moment recently. I was thinking about how lame it is to show up at karaoke and then just like rip it and actually do like really well at it. Like have a prepared song for it. And then I realized it is equally lame to be the cool guy at the open mic.
be like, I did the best tonight.
Yeah. Just be like, I fucking ripped tonight.
I've done both of those things.
Right?
Yeah. Like, ugh.
I don't care. I mean, when you do kill it, you know, it still feels really good.
It feels really good when you kill at karaoke too. Almost
Yeah.
better. I don't know.
When you get the karaoke host is like calling you back up for songs you didn't even request.
True.
It's like,
On vacation, I sang Def Leppard's Hysteria. They made me come back up and take a bow. It was,
Damn.
yeah.
Hysteria. Is that one?
Yeah.
That's
I hate the sound of my own voice so much. I did karaoke once and never again.
You should try getting like 10 vodka sodas deep at sea.
That would be enough to kill me, Joe.
Oh.
The most I've had in recent... I got alcohol poisoning in college really bad once. I think the most I've had to drink in one day was the 4th with you guys when we were playing spike ball. I had 6 that day.
That's good.
Wow.
It's keeping up.
Yeah. I was...
Not with me and Scott, but that's keeping up.
Yeah, with like kids that steal booze from their parents. Like,
Yeah.
probably about that level is where I'm at.
Actually, it's funny to bring this up. I just crossed a year yesterday.
Hell yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
As I drink 3 vodka seltzers.
I'm not a 12-stepper guy, so like
It'd be a lot cooler if you were.
I don't think it would. And I mean, if you're a 12-stepper, I got no hate in my heart for it. If it's working, keep working it. It did not work for me. Just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore and gave it up. So.
It's a lot of steps to keep track of, too. 12?
It
What are we
is.
talking about here? I got
It
10
is.
fingers. You want me to start taking off my socks?
And I think there's like a
That's a good
a
point.
specific kind of like life-ruining drunk that AA is really good for.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and this is just thinking, I could be way off base on this, but I think a lot of people that are in AA just need a hobby that's not drinking.
It's good to have a
friends
community.
to hang out with. Yeah, I mean,
I think the people I've seen in my life who are most successful with quitting drinking are not a part of AA. Or they go occasionally just to check in or whatever. But,
when it was mandated, and no, yeah, it's just it's not a structure I can follow.
yeah, it doesn't really seem to. I don't know.
Well, the success
I grew up with
rates-
my mother going a lot, and then I would go to like the family meetings or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Court ordered, fun
Was,
stuff.
was it Al-Anon? Was that the...
Yeah,
Yeah, like family member, yeah.
yeah, and then it's like it just doesn't seem to ever stick. There's just like a lot of shame and stuff attached to it at that point. And then
Yeah.
you got to escape that, and I don't know.
I had a family member tell me I should probably look into it because of my marijuana smoking.
Well, you probably should. You got problems, John. Justin.
My
No.
problem is fucking marijuana is way too good and cheap.
I grapple with this because, like, I don't know. Probably just the way I grew up. I do think I smoke too much weed, like more than a, grown adult probably should. But at the same time, I'm like, motherfuckers drink coffee all day,
Yeah.
and once you build up a tolerance, like, what's the difference between like?
Everybody's okay with certain ways of adjusting your consciousness and brutal against the people that do it in different ways.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, we're all doing drugs.
If it's causing a problem in your life, then it's a problem. And if
Exactly.
it's not, it's not.
That's really how you got to approach it.
Yeah. I worked with a therapist for a while. I always got to be careful of If I'm smoking marijuana to cover up my feelings, that's no good. If I'm smoking marijuana to enhance something, that's okay. You want to go on skateboarding? Smoke a little weed.
Yeah.
A little podcast with your homies? Smoke a little weed.
I just never...
You get yelled at work? Don't go home and smoke weed all night. Figure out what you did wrong, sort that out, then celebrate by smoking a little weed.
I never feel like I'm escaping from anything when I get high, though. If anything, it's like I'm going to focus on all the things that I would theoretically be trying to escape from.
Oh, I escape sometimes.
That's what alcohol is for.
Yeah, like when I would get like depressed and like overwhelmed by stuff, I feel like sometimes the way I've always described is it feels like life is moving like 1.5 times speed and I'm moving at like 1.
Yeah.
So like sometimes, and it's just such dumb shit. Like I'll get so overwhelmed at tax time. Like as soon as I get my documents, I start panicking. Like it's going to be so hard. Like something bad's going to happen. Oh my God. And then I finally sit down and do it and it takes like 30 minutes and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like those feelings that I have that like this is overwhelming, like sometimes I would just get crazy high and like watch videos or go do something and I was like, oh, okay. But then when I'd sober up, I'm like, that still has to get done. Stupid.
I think maybe when I was younger I might have done like let me get high instead of dealing with this, but just as I've gotten older, and especially since I've gotten off alcohol, it's like if there's anything bothering me, like weed's gonna bring that to the... It's kind of like mushrooms do. Like if you haven't done mushrooms in a long time and you do a big dose, like anything that you're trying to hide from yourself, you're gonna be fucking dealing with it.
I love when people come into the shop. They're like, I want something to make me feel better, but doesn't make me high. I'm like, what do you got going in that noodle you're afraid of?
Exactly. Yeah, you're trying to hide from you.
You fix that, you might not even need weed.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, well, yeah, if I smoke a bunch and I get paranoid, I'll just like write down. I was like, okay, you got to do this, and this, and then like it'll be better.
I find that, I rarely get paranoid anymore, but like the only trick is to just do something.
Yeah.
Like, go play drums, pick up the guitar, go mow the lawn, do something. Don't just sit there and be paranoid. Go live. Remind yourself that you're still functional and capable, and then that shit goes away.
Oh, I get the bad one with the dog sometimes when I'm high. She's 15 now.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just be like, what's life going to be like without her?
Maggie's 15?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have never guessed she was that old.
No, people still like if they're like, oh, like 3 or 4, but like all of her white, like she used to be brown.
Yeah.
So it just happens that like she just looks like normal coloring. But yeah, like you said, like I'll start being like, okay, like if I'm afraid of that, what can I do to appreciate it in the moment? Like what can I be doing right now that like, because I know like I'll probably outlive her, maybe 50-50.
Most likely.
Let's start rollerblading again.
I live a rough and tumble lifestyle. But yeah, so it's like I don't want to have those regrets. So how can I use that paranoia in the moment to make sure I'm living in a way that I don't? Like obviously it's going to break me no matter what, but
yeah, of course,
at least now I'll be like, okay, like all those times I was panicking, I brushed her.
Well, if it doesn't break you, then something is very wrong.
Oh, dude, the people that can give animals up are so sick.
I don't get it. I mean, that's how you met our little dog, Bullet. She was 8, and the family that had her was just like, nah. I'm like, what? How do you just...
Same thing with Maggie. She got pregnant, and they were just like, nah.
I mean, you get rid of the puppies, get the dog fixed, and then go back to business as usual. What the fuck? I don't get it.
I feel like if you were able to do, like, if there was a humane society for kids, like, we'd just be blown away at how many people were just dropping kids off.
How does society feel about dog abortions?
Wow, I don't think they give a fuck, do they?
Are dogs getting aborted that often?
I don't know. Probably.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I bet it's not 0.
I think if they pick up I believe...
I bet it's not. Oh,
I believe if they pick up a stray and it's pregnant...
They can abort it?
They spay and abort.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that's the case with cats, for sure.
You know, I just feel so bad so often that dogs get so fucked over by our bad behavior. Like, that dog's getting an abortion because we're fucking wild.
Yeah.
I cry every month. I go to the Humane Society with Lily the day after the show, and we walk all the dogs, and I just cry the whole day.
It's kind of wild, though, when you kind of zoom out and think about, like, what a dog is, or what a dog came from, and what we turned it into.
Yeah. And
all the issues we gave it by domesticating it. Like, anything that's fucked up with dogs, it's our fault.
Dude, I tell this to people all the time at work. Like, if you're a laborer of any sort and you're getting a salary, look what we did to the original employee of humans. It was dogs. They allowed us to do so much. And then exactly like we said, like, no, pigeons. Do you know why pigeons are fucked up and they only live in cities? And why they go towards people?
That's something with the homing pigeons. Right?
They were domesticated.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were brought over here. And then when we had like electronic communications, we stopped using pigeons for mail. And we just let them go. We were just done with them. When they were and now we're just like, oh, these fucking rats in the city. They're fucking flying rats. But like they
Mike
were
Tyson doesn't feel that way.
they were our communication for a really long time. And then we did the same thing with dogs. Like they allowed us to hunt. They allowed us to tame the wild. And then like now we're just like, you are our pets and we make you not be able to breathe out of your nose.
Did you see there was a thing where some guy who's against marijuana legalization at the federal level was like, what are all these drug dogs supposed to do if we legalize weed? And I'm like, okay, that's the worst argument ever, because find me a stoner who doesn't love dogs and also lose his weed from time to time.
That's so good. Yeah, it's like, fucking, it's gone again. I'm panicking. Where is it? I do that in the van all the time. I'm like, this will be a good place to store some weed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's gone now. Couple months from now I'll be deep clean. I'll be like, oh shit, that hash.
Jeez, they just really need to legalize it federally, because I'm sure that like if I were to cruise through a state that is no longer, not up with the times yet, and I just like, there's probably an empty cart somewhere under a seat somewhere that I just forgot about. And I mean, that's a felony or it was a felony in Ohio up until fairly recently.
Dude, I was in Texas. But it was fucking wild because like all the other cities were like super like that.
Yeah.
But then in Austin they had like THCA places all over.
Oh, right,
so it was like this little like bastion where I felt safe. Like the whole trip down there I was like, I'm gonna be so safe.
And there's like the whole weird like Delta 8 thing that happened, and like people were getting high, but like diet high. I don't know.
It's nonsensical.
Just legalize the real shit. And
I only tried the Delta 8 once, and it was an edible, and edibles don't do much for me, so it just kind of gave me a headache.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Plenty of other good ways to get a headache.
Yeah. I was also trying kava for the first time, so that could have contributed.
Kava's spacey. What'd you think of it?
Didn't hit me that hard. I don't know.
I've actually become a big fan of these things called Feel Free. I don't know if you guys have seen them around. They sell them
I've
in like
seen you with them.
they sell them in like smoke
good marketing.
shops
Sponsor
and gas
'em.
stations and stuff. I would love a sponsorship. Send me a box.
Joe's
please.
seen him with
Feel
him.
Free. But yeah, it's a little shot. It's 2 servings in a bottle, and it's like kava and kratom mixed in a way where they like accentuate each other.
Okay.
And it's like, you're not gonna do your dose and then feel stoned or anything, but it's like kind of that feeling of looseness after like 2 or 3 shots of liquor.
Okay.
But without like the dirty overhanging alcohol feeling.
Yeah.
Or the hangover.
I've done kava
like
a bunch.
But I mean, I have done kava by itself. It's been a long time, but like the mixture with kratom and kava seems to be pretty decent.
I was trying to not smoke as much marijuana at work at retail, which was very difficult. And they had these kava lozenges, and they were like 50 milligrams a lozenge. And I was doing like 2 of them a day, and it was like, I was getting pretty spacey.
Does it make you like just forget stuff, or?
Well, like it made me not motivated to do anything besides what I had to do. So like at work, it's usually pretty slow. Not pretty slow, but like there's moments of slowness. So like when I'm cleaning or when I'm just like at the front desk hanging out, I'll try to do a bit of writing. That's when I try to get most of my writing done. I was doing kava. I was just like a little bit of a zombie.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
So I was like, and then like now it's just been like, like we were saying, like marijuana shouldn't be convenient. Like there's times in my life where I just need to be uncomfortable and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, work's not fun, but it's been like an interesting challenge to be like, all right, like can I bring that same energy I would if I was high, if I'm not? And then can I imagine that as practice for the stage when I don't feel in the like right mood? Like how can I practice that muscle of like being able to turn the right energy on?
You'd be surprised how much forward progress you can make once you start learning how to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even necessarily like being comfortable with it, but just recognizing that like this uncomfort is normal and it's leading to the thing that's gonna be awesome.
Yup.
And it's important that I actually go through this part of it.
We're such a like instant gratification society, though. It's so hard. Even I have to say that like once a week, like, yeah, okay, this sucks, but it's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I was pissed last night. I was so mad. I told Brendan, I was like, it's crazy how much more authentically you inhabit a character you created than I can inhabit my own self. It's fucking frustrating, Brendan.
He's an interesting boy.
He what, dude? That just Glenn last night. I loved it. His little giggles.
Yeah, he was having fun up there.
People are loving that character.
I knew when I bombed and he was going up after me, I was like, I just know he's gonna crush right now.
Yeah.
It's what they want.
Yeah.
But like, I was talking to Austin about it, and he's like, I don't necessarily like that style of comedy. He's like a purist. Like, he's like, I just want to hear the jokes. But he's like, it's so fun. He's like being there month after month and seeing the different people. It's interesting to see what people like, what type of comic.
Right. And it's like it takes all different kinds of comedy. It's like I could just say I don't want Glenn on the stage and just have Brendan do jokes, but like I'm not going to tell anybody how to do comedy. That's preposterous.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, and it's like just because I don't get the character, I'm still watching the crowd. I'm watching people react and laugh and have a great time, which is why the fuck we're all there in the first place.
Well, it's like I always say, it's like musical styles. Like comedy is so interesting because you go to a show, like you go to a country show and it's country all the way through.
Yep.
You go to a comedy show and it could be somebody like Joe and then somebody like Just Glenn back to back, and it's like as two different styles as you could have in Northern Michigan right now.
Right. And I see so many people that get so like single-minded, like the kind of comedy I like is all that's important, and it's the only kind of comedy there is. And as soon as they see something that challenges that, they're booing and heckling, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, then see the one you like and leave.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like you're coming in here like, I fucking hate chicken. Nobody should be eating chicken. It's all pork. It's like, whoa, dude, calm down.
That reminds me of the night I was working at Blue Tractor many, many moons ago, and we were like 10 minutes to close, so we'd started wrapping up the kitchen, and then somebody in the front came back and like, we just sat at 12 top, and we're like, fuck you. Everybody gets mad in the kitchen. Turns out they sat at 12 top of Muslims at Blue Tractor, which serves, I don't know, 95% pork.
Okay.
They had been misinformed by their Uber driver, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So they promptly left, and we got to close. That story kind of sucked. I thought it was funnier in my head.
Well, it's cool that they were just like, this isn't for us, and they bail instead of trying to make you guys figure out some dishes that worked.
I mean, we did, I believe, offer them non-pork items, but their whole thing was like, it's being prepared in a kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Kitchen. I don't know why that.
Oh.
Usually have a stutter.
I don't know if you want to be hanging out in the KKK kitchen.
You don't.
So the Muslims like, I think we need to get out of here.
I think we should be out of here.
I haven't worked in kitchens in Traverse City in, I don't know, it's got to be 10 years at this point. But
Congratulations.
It wasn't far from the KKK in certain places.
Yeah, it's Northern Michigan. There's a strong element.
I love like people who are like, oh, Traverse City's a liberal paradise, and I'm like, step literally 2 feet outside the city lines.
Talk to the people that
Jesus.
work but don't live in the city.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I mean, I live in Thompsonville, so I'm in the thick of the Michigan wilds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Generational
And
wilds.
it's not far from Traverse City.
I see it all, man. I drive from Traverse to Sheboygan once a week.
Oh, yeah?
See Sheboygan, then Gaylord, Kalkaska, Mansalona.
I've been doing that drive about once a month. It's an interesting cross-section of humanity through there.
It really is. You see a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is when you see just like a really run-down house, but then they have all brand new, huge political signs. And I'm like, I don't know what political signs cost, and I don't know what a can of paint costs, but I do know where I would put my money.
Yep. I think a lot of those signs get given away for free too, or like very cheap.
But I mean, this one had like wooden posts and was set in the ground.
Oh.
Like, yeah, they had to have a contractor come out and set that thing up.
Well, again, we go right back to the point. They probably are a contractor. Yeah.
I don't know.
Unlicensed.
Yes.
We're
also
all
true.
unlicensed contractors.
But it just goes back to the point, like, they got nothing else going on, so they hold so tightly to that. Like, they put such a... And it's like, in their head, they don't judge themselves by the circumstances they're in, because the circumstances they're in are a reflection of an unfair society that only the person that they're pushing for can save them from.
Yeah.
They don't see any... Both groups, anybody that's really pushing hard for a political party, they've given their power away. They don't think there's anything they can do locally to make a change in their life. Mm-hmm. So they put everything they have into this person, And then if this person goes in, then everything will be better.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person doesn't go in, then all the bad things in their life are still justified and they don't have to do a single thing.
John's been listening to a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. I was listening to I can't remember who was saying it, but the concept was like, as society kind of moves away from religion and that kind of thing, in the absence of God, we'll create one. So that's why you're seeing like
capitalism,
celebrities and politicians being raised to these like almost deification statuses, because people don't really have faith in a higher power anymore.
Well,
that's the thought. Anyway.
I would argue the opposite way. I would argue that the people that want control have pushed us away from faith so they can run their cultural hegemony of money and make us. Because if God is the most important thing to us, we're not going to work as hard as if, Kim Kardashian is. We work on average, I think it's like 268 more hours than a peasant did.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
It's all about that overtime.
They were focused on God. We're focused on Kim. I think good religion at its core is really, really powerful. I think all the shenanigans on top are, again, the money thing.
Yeah. Money and power.
To be fair, the peasants were having a much shittier time at work.
Probably. Well, at least they were outdoors.
Yeah.
Well, Joe's outdoors. I'm outdoors part of the year.
I'm outdoors. Good.
Outdoor crew, let's go.
Wow.
At work right now, the only time I get outdoors is when I go out to pick cigarette butts out.
Oh, that's no fun.
Parking lot. No, it's not.
Damn.
But we usually go out in groups and we just talk and pick up cigarettes butts. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I like being outside for work, but I don't like that I have to check myself for ticks every day when I get home.
Yeah, the places you go through are nuts.
Yeah, deep woods.
I am very particular about where I am outside in tick season.
Mm-hmm. I would suggest none of the North Country Trail. That trail I don't think even wants people on it. The last time I was
it does. It's hungry for people, Jeremy.
That could be it. But
survives.
the last time I was down there working on that trail, I swear to God, I heard a tree whisper, "Get out."
It's like some Hobbit stuff.
Yeah,
Black
wild.
Forest.
It's wild down there.
Spooky.
I sat down.
Probably
for
a homeless guy behind the base. Jeremy, get the fuck out of here.
Trying to jerk off back here.
It could have been. But I sat down for lunch one day, and like one of the kids in my crew was like, "Is that a tick next to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure shit is. Bring me a hammer." I smash that tick, and I get up and I turn around and look, and I just started smashing ticks. And like 5 minutes later, I'd smashed, I don't know, 15, 20 of those fucking things.
Were you bitten?
No, not that day.
Damn. You're like Blade.
Yeah, I was a daywalker.
He was biting them.
These things are hard to squish.
They are crazy hard to squish.
It's more of a Van Helsing in that situation.
My aunt's got some property out by Hillman, like a big hill, and we'll camp there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got my van, like last April, I went out there and I picked up a stick, and the stick had to have had 200 ticks on it.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Cause yeah, there was just like down debris on her property. And I was going to pick it up, and I picked that stick up, and I was like, I don't think we can do this.
No, I can't remember. There was somewhere down in the Huron-Manistee National Forest, there was an outhouse that one of the dudes went in to take a shit, and he came out real quick, and I was like, that was fast. He's like, yeah, I closed the door, and I saw like 30 deer ticks run down the backside of it. He's like, I'm not taking my pants off in there. And I was like, yeah, I don't blame you.
That's so crazy. Yeah, it's really got to the point in Michigan, like in the summer I'll go out, in the winter I'll go out, and then in the fall and the spring I mostly just focus on water sports.
Yep.
Because the beach is pretty safe.
Yep. Yeah, it's about to get into that kind of wet season again, and they love that shit.
You just got to check it. When I worked in cannabis, the property in Oregon, you'd go down there and one night I had 8 on me and Maggie had 15.
Oof.
It was terrible.
We need a good old-fashioned Michigan winter and freeze those fucking things again.
Oh, dear God. I'm hoping.
I mean, I don't want a good old-fashioned Michigan winter, but we really need one.
Fingers crossed. They're saying this one's going to be nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be cold and wet.
I would love that. I just bought a new powder board, new goggles.
Ooh. I think my snowboarding days are behind me.
If anybody wants to come out to Hickory Hills, go out and have a comics day.
If anybody is out at Crystal Mountain and wants to swing by and smoke a joint afterwards.
I will actually, because I want to go. I didn't go any. I only did Nubs this year, but I want to check out all the ones in
Well, you've
Northern.
been to my house. I'm literally 5 miles from Crystal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what, I've been driving through. I was like, oh yeah, all these little resorts that I've always heard about are like all right around Traverse.
Benzie County's got some cool spots in it.
It's got a lot of nice little hills.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what me and Lily want to end up getting property somewhere in this area and either have a stream we can swim in or a hill that I can skate, like snow skate on in the winter.
Yeah. I mean, there's still property out there for sure, but it's getting harder and harder.
Just live in the van and camp on somebody's shit.
I'm seeing people starting to build mansions down in like Bear Lake and shit. Like,
Do you have any idea how many ticks are down there?
A lot.
Jesus Christ.
A lot. But what do you do? Yeah.
Hope for a cold winter or buy a flamethrower.
True.
I have both.
Or just get like a bunch of opossums.
You know,
because those eat ticks like crazy.
Yeah.
Just get a bunch of them.
I wanted to get like a whole setup where I had like turkeys and possums and guinea hens and just all the things that I've read eat a ton of ticks and just have them follow me around, and that could be like my thing for my job. They'd be like, "Oh, Turkey Man is here," you know. Like,
I mean, you do have a farm.
I would accept a name like Turkey Man.
I almost feel like you would just have to like do it for like your property though, you know, just have like a big fence.
Yeah.
And just have those animals on the inside just wrecking them.
I think we're gonna
Train
do
them like Pokemon.
We're gonna do something like that eventually, but fencing is expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess you gotta train them just to come back then. You'd be the opossum king of Thompsonville.
That'd be pretty cool.
Be
The
really...
only problem with the possums, like, I feel like as soon as you get attached to them, they die.
They don't live long?
No, they only like 7 years is like a really old possum.
Because they're eating ticks all day. It can't be healthy.
I think they average like 4 years.
Yeah, dude, Lyme disease fucks them up.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just full of Lyme.
I think they're just lonely being the only marsupial over here. You know, they don't have any kangaroo cousins they
Oh,
can
that's
talk
it.
to.
It's loneliness.
Yeah,
It's a big killer.
it's true.
It's hard being ugly too.
Oh, that's not nice, dude. Possums aren't ugly.
Okay.
Or were you talking about us? 'Cause that's not nice either.
I'm talking about myself.
Oh, okay. That's the good thing about being a man. You don't got to be really... That's not what women are looking for in a man.
That is true.
You got to be... As a man, like how you dress and how you look, it's not about being so good that they rule you in. It's about not being so bad that they rule you out.
Right.
It's other qualities that will make you shine.
I mean, because you could have like kind of a jacked up face, but if you're like 6'2" and have a little bit of muscle to you,
I'm 6'4", actually.
I
Jeremy.
wasn't talking about you.
Okay.
Jeremy.
6'4".
I mean, that guy's gonna get laid, no problem. But if you're like 5'1" and you look like a bridge troll,
It's gonna be harder.
you're gonna have a bad time.
No.
Probably gotta find another bridge troll.
You got to have like two things. Just two things is all you need.
Mm-hmm. Money and a just swinging hammer of a dick.
Dude, money's the best one.
It is.
Money is definitely the best one.
Personally,
the
I
worst.
gotta settle for a swinging hammer of a dick.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's why they call him the bad boy.
I ain't rich. What does that tell you? Nothing.
I'm leaning on
Nothing at
tall
all.
and funny. We're working on the funny.
Plus, like, that's the other thing though. Like, even if you have all the money, they still haven't really perfected like dick implants.
No.
I would never trust one.
No, that's what I'm
anyways.
saying.
Well, they got that like all the facial fillers for women are just like blowing up now, and they're getting like that pillow face.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah.
you can't modify the body that much. You gotta just kind of figure out how to be happy with what you got.
I mean, as long as you're not. I mean, I'm not sitting in a position where I
fucking love this.
I don't disappoint. Like, I'm not packing heat, but I don't disappoint. So it's like, why would you want to get in there with surgery if you're not like?
Yeah,
If you got a micro,
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I would. Yeah, I'd probably start considering
So
options.
you're thinking of like the chick who's already got like a nice solid B cup and she decides to go for a G. It's like there's no need for that.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
it's playing the wrong game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're aggressively average, it's probably better.
nothing
to
wrong with being
stick
aggressively
that.
average.
No,
Yeah, you're
better than half the people.
Yeah,
Yeah. Average dick gang.
Comparison is the theft of joy.
That was a weird thing to.
Run the light. Run
Fuck
the...
that guy, Fred. If you're watching, fuck you. Okay.
He came up to me like 8 times and kept saying that. I finally just started walking away from him. I was like, I'm not doing that chant ever.
Yeah.
Like, he did that thing where like he came up to me and was like, "Oh, hey, I really like what you said up there," and
Oh,
this and that. And then he stood there and like waited for me to compliment what he said, and I just kind of looked at him and went, "Thanks."
I think he actually believed I was just Scott's neighbor. 'Cause he came up to me after the show and he was like, "You're Scott's neighbor, right?"
First time.
Yeah.
Jokes didn't make it seem like you were a comic. They
It's
just
like-
seemed like you were a neighbor.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, you should keep at it."
You know what the worst part is for me is in that guy's mind, he crushed last night.
Yep. He was hammered.
Yeah. Wasted, and he was doing just water cooler jokes. Like, of course he's getting laughs because, like, it's just, you're triggered to laugh at those kind of jokes. It's a dumb, easy laugh. But some people think that's what comedy is. And I mean, in the broadest sense of the word, yes, that falls under the umbrella of comedy. But
Yes.
stand-up comedy is like mining the deepest depths of your own consciousness to try to find things that will make strangers laugh. It's a different
He was a cover band.
Yeah, but you even... I don't know, man. Like, you can't be a comedy cover band, I don't think.
I think he was.
Well,
I don't think you should.
Doesn't work out, but you can try.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of works, but it's not a perfect analogy because, like, cover bands can be respected and do a really good job.
That's
Like,
true.
If you're upfront about being a cover band, no one's going to shit on you for playing
I guess
somebody
that's his
else's
problem. He
songs.
wasn't being upfront. He didn't say, "Hey, I just got some jokes I read on the internet. I wanted to read them out loud to you because maybe you don't have a phone to look them up with."
That was the worst part, is like, these are jokes that you've heard at work for the last 20 years, and he was reading them out of a notebook like he wrote them.
He transcribed. I came in the middle of that set. That's funny that he wrote those down.
Sorry, Fred. I don't mean to shit on you after your first time. Actually, I do, but...
Here's the deal, Fred.
Jesus.
It's from love, because if you listen to what Jeremy's saying, you will get better. If you keep doing what you're doing, you probably won't.
You'll be on the fast track to getting...
Well,
You'll be the first person to ever get blacklisted from USS.
I think that's the problem with bullying. Is like a lot of times you shouldn't bully somebody about something they can't change,
Yes.
but you should bully them if they're doing something like running the light.
Yes. I think, that whole anti-bullying thing...
We need a little bit of bullying. It's like sandpaper.
We
It smooths
needed-
society.
It's
Also-
like we need different distinctions of bullying, I think.
Yeah.
There's different levels to it.
Also, new guys, you got to come for 6 months before you can join the joint circle.
Yeah, no shit.
You can't just pull up on your first night.
You got to bring some weed too, and I have to look at it and judge you poorly for it, probably.
Also, I'm bad about that. I should bring weed more.
I'm a mooch.
I will. In the future, I'll bring more.
It was in the Dark Tower series that he said, "A man who can't bear to share his habits is a man who should have no habits at all." Yeah, it was the gunslinger that said that. So
Stephen King.
there he is.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have any weed to share last night because the only joint I brought, I panic smoked after I had a bad
That's
set.
fair. That's fair.
I did make Nick Stafford come out with me because I knew if I got him high, I would be a little bit like quicker than him. And when he tried to Irish goodbye last night, I caught him and I didn't let him go, and I made him stay in this fucking circle. He thought he was so slick, but I watched him go up and pay his bill early, like during like the last comic set, and then right as it got up, he just got up and started walking out, and I just walked a little faster. I was like, "Oh, where are you going, Nick?" He's like, I was like, "You want to hang out for a little bit?" He's like, "Yeah, that'd be cool."
Oh no, you ruined his night.
I know, he's trying to run out. I was like, "Why are you always trying to scurry out of here?"
I think I ruined his night in the alley when I pulled up Stewie from Family Guy dressed as Zack Sawyer.
Oh my God.
We were roasting outfits pretty hard
I
last
wear
night.
short sleeve shirts, but it was his exact outfit and almost his hair too.
It was perfect.
It was pretty beautiful.
I was looking pretty Eastern Bloc last night.
It was hot. The whole thing, it was just like Stafford, Jay West, all the outfits were on point last night. It was a good time.
What can I say? It's the year of the glow up.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep wearing the exact same thing probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I dressed like a lesbian last night.
What were you wearing last night?
Flannel.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Maybe you
love
could have gotten BJ Subaru and drove away.
Coulda. Told him my balls don't stink. I wash them.
Yeah, every time he tells that story, I'm like, I gotta get this guy some shower wipes or something.
Yeah, he needs what is that stuff called? Damn it. It was a podcast sponsor for the
Mando.
longest time. It was before Mando. It came with the ball trimmer. What was that?
Oh,
thing
Manscaped.
called? Yeah.
Oh.
The Manscaped had the crop preserver.
Yeah.
That's what it was called, I think.
Probably he's smoking all those cigarettes and it's just going out through his balls.
It's probably what it is, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't know how it works, but maybe that's how the smells are getting out there, BJ.
I think I'm thinking about picking up a pipe again.
Oh, pipes are fun.
Yeah.
I had a pipe in college.
I bought one. Well, it must have been about 6 years ago. It was right around the time we started Union. And it was, I don't know, like Zarilli and I just kind of, as a goof, started smoking pipes. And it was actually just kind of nice to be out in front of Union smoking a pipe. And then recently I've realized that, like, I really enjoy a cigar, but I rarely want to sit down for an hour and smoke an
Cigars are too
entire
much.
cigar.
Yeah.
I like the first 10 minutes of a cigar.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, I need...
So I'm thinking the pipe's going to fill that void just about perfect.
I could get into that.
Yeah.
I've had multiple pipes already. I just get into it for like a month and then I just drop it.
You usually forget about it, and then by the time you remember it, the tobacco's all dried out and stale, and you're like, oh, well.
Is there a good shop in town?
Nolan's.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be good.
Shout out Nolan's.
Shout out.
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's where this podcast was conceived.
Actually, I would love to be able to do a podcast there
That'd
in
be
the
awesome.
cigar lounge.
Yeah.
Like, that could get me to sit and finish a whole cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go talk to him about it.
It's not a bad idea. The only thing is the smoke is really bad for microphones.
Oh, I bet.
But they have all those smoke eaters and shit in there.
Hold them above your heads like this.
You just have to blow upwards.
But actually, Katie and I were talking about it because I probably shouldn't say this in a podcast because we haven't done anything yet. And the more you talk about something, the less likely you are to actually do it. But we've been talking about just going to Nolan's for like brainstorming sessions for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get that nicotine going and
Into that.
chill and brainstorm. And
I've been trying to get Nolan's, not like seriously trying, but I've tried a couple times with Nick Stafford, I believe, and Scott to get Nolan's writing sessions going.
I'd be so into that.
What? So that was another. This is off topic. Getting into our own life. We should definitely do that in the winter when I have a more open schedule.
Yeah.
But like on Tuesdays.
I'm down, yeah.
Cause you're not working this winter again?
As far as I know at this point.
So I would love to pack everything into Tuesday. Do our podcast. Do a writing session. Do Union Street. Just have a fucking fat block of comedy on Tuesdays.
That may very well be a possibility. I'm staying on with my job through the winter, but I don't think it's going to be full-time hours. So
That'd be sick.
yeah.
Because like the way it's gonna work.
Off for the wintertime. That'd be kind of.
I'm only gonna be down in
Cool.
Traverse on Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the winter. But if I could pack everything on Tuesdays, that'd be sweet. Because then that would leave Wednesdays for Lily.
Yeah, that would actually. If I could get Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, it'd be perfect. Because then I could stay up as late as I wanted on Tuesday night at Union.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to worry about work on Wednesday. That's been probably the biggest struggle is like I really love my job, but going to work on a Wednesday morning after like 4 hours of sleep.
Hurt. I've been getting real good.
Getting old, fellas.
I'm finally getting to the point where I have to take my sleep seriously.
Oh yeah.
Like at work, I can't do that thing where I'm like, oh, I feel like writing or I feel like playing some games. Like I come home from work, I gotta go to bed or I'm just gonna feel like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped getting hammered at the open mic strictly because I sleep like shit when I drink.
Yeah, it took me way too long to learn that lesson.
It just fucks everything up when I'm not getting good sleep.
Mhm.
Everything else is better.
Yep.
I did bad last night. I stayed up a little late, and then I get up early with Lily, and then I usually take like a 3-hour nap on Wednesdays.
Wow.
I was telling Joe I was way too productive today.
Hmm.
I was just getting shit done.
3-hour nap that's a lot.
Oh yeah, like so usually during the week I'll take 1 3-hour,
Okay.
and then the other days I'll usually take like 1 3-hour, 2 hour and a half, and then every other day I'll take a 30-minute nap.
Hmm.
Like I don't go a day where I don't take a nap.
Nice. I'm like a 20-minute nap.
Yeah, that's a good time too.
I like it, just good refresh.
I set it for 27 minutes, I guess, if we're being specific.
Yeah. Means you got to build in that time to actually fall asleep and then
Oh, I'm so like
log some sleep time.
if I usually put on like a guided meditation,
I need to try.
1 to 2 minutes and I'm done.
Damn.
Or what I really like sometimes if I like make it through the meditation, I'm like, oh, I'm actually like pretty well rested.
Yeah, sometimes like even if you can't sleep, just the act of like laying down to take a nap can give you just a little charge.
Mm-hmm.
Get you another couple miles down the trail, as they say.
It's either like standing up or like sitting all the time. It's like constantly being in the microwave. Like laying down is like opening that door and letting some of the heat dissipate. Let your back chill out. Letting your hips chill out.
Yeah.
Saw Joe checking the time. Are we going to end hot on this one? Do we have any more hot topics to rev us up one more time?
Not when you put me on the spot like that. No.
I was looking at both you guys. You guys are both on the spot.
I mean,
you want to plug your podcast?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because I don't have anywhere to point people.
Okay.
I'll plug mine.
There is a podcast coming, and we'll talk about it.
Check out the second season of Cannabis Stuff coming October 1st.
Ooh. I was in season 1.
Yeah.
That everyone here was in season 1.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We're only missing one person that wasn't here from season 1.
Oh, is there only 3 episodes in season 1?
Each season's only 3 episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
What dictates like the length of a season? It's just
It's like
arbitrary...
the sun usually.
The Sun, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did 3 because I wanted to do enough in the beginning where I felt like, all right, I'm starting to like finalize an idea of how I want to do these. So
Gotcha,
the first 3 were like, oh, okay, I had some ideas, and then I filmed the next 3, and I was like, oh, okay. Like after I filmed those 3, I was like, I had more ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it seems like every 3 I do right now, it's like a different thing.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, 3 season episodes would be fun, or like 3 episode seasons would be fun.
Yeah,
and then that way I can
structure.
I can like give them like more themes and start working on that stuff and like interview like a group of people.
Who is the third person besides the 2 of us?
In the first one,
Yeah.
Sean Jacobs.
Okay.
He is a coworker in Sheboygan. We actually went to college together.
I know 2 of the people in season 3. I'm not sure who the third person is.
You know all the people in season 3.
Well, I don't know who the third person. I know Scott and Ben are in season 3. I don't know who the third person is.
Lily Armstrong.
Oh shit!
Yeah. We're starting to break into the first group of somebody that doesn't smoke marijuana.
Starting to get some diversity.
I was gonna say, she doesn't smoke, so that'll be
Well, that's why I'm so excited for that episode, just because I think it's so interesting that like so many stoner, it's always about like, oh, let's smoke, let's talk about weed, like that intersection of like I smoke more weed than anybody I know, and she smokes none, and we're dating, so like. She has such interesting perspectives. We haven't filmed it yet, but like we've started writing notes. But it's like every time we talk, I'm like, we gotta stop talking. It's so fascinating. The things she thinks about marijuana. I find her just fucking raw dog in life interesting too. It's weird.
right.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I land on it. It's like, oh, you don't need anything to get through the day.
Gym. She's the gym. The gym
More
is what does it for her.
Power to you, man. Like, I lived that life at different points.
Well, it's such a level of self-control, and they talk about that like study with kids where they give them the M&Ms and like how long they can resist eating them dictates so many like things in life on how good they do. As I wish I remember his name. He's one of my favorite comedians. He was on Rogan and they were talking about video games, and like one of the things why it's so dangerous these days is because at any moment you want to, you can hop on and have the exact game you want.
Oh,
And that's so dangerous because like that's like so quick. He's like, I don't like play those anymore because I'll go down that crazy rabbit hole.
Is that Stavros?
No. It's but just talking about that idea, like her thing, like she really loves going to the gym.
Oh.
So like she like doesn't like, she looks forward to it. She builds it into certain times. It's not something that she's like, oh, I really want to do this right now. She's like looking forward to that one. Whereas like weed, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do this right now. Like I can fit it in wherever. And I just think like being addicted to something that you can't fit in whenever is probably the healthiest.
That's right. I have to have a physical job because I can't force myself to work out. Like.
Oh, okay.
I can't just go do exercise.
Yeah.
I need to like chop wood or like move something or
I will do exercise because I know what it does for the things that I really love. Like I know if I do exercise, I'll be able to surf better.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I think if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be that interested in it.
If you can't shred, what's it all for?
Dude, exactly. That's 100% how I feel. I'm looking so forward to shredding this winter. Get shreddy. Snowboarding's fun. Snow's pretty soft.
I'm gonna do some shredding this winter.
Skateboarding's very brutal.
Guitar shredding. I don't know. Probably gonna. Actually, yeah. I want to get a music thing going too, but I don't want to talk about it too loud because I feel like I always want to start a band with people, and then we jam like twice, and then I'm like, actually, don't want to make time for this.
Dude, it's hard to do anything. Steve Jobs said that. He said the measure of greatness isn't what you say yes to, but what you say no to.
Yeah.
And it's like I do want to do it. Like the desire is there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I get out of work and think about like going home and packing up my gear and going over and setting things up and turning things up loud, it's like, and the thing that sucks is I know if I were to go through with it and get there and set everything up and do the thing, I'd be having a great fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the fear of the setup.
True.
They had so many like extreme sports that I do, like getting the wetsuit on and all that. Like I felt that when you said that. Like I fucking hate doing that shit. I get like anxiety sometimes when there's like good waves. I'm like, I know I'm gonna dick around for 30 minutes and miss the best waves because I can't just put my wetsuit on right now because it takes me 3 minutes.
Yep. And that's
big, interesting.
Some people like to wonder what the difference between like doing comedy gigs and doing music gigs is, and it's like you can't really compare them. They're so different. Like as far as one being harder than the other, I mean, physically it's harder to do the music things. You got to move your stuff on and off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
You get time constraints and this and that. But then if you fuck up, you've usually got 2 or 3 other people to bury your mistake.
Cover
and
it,
just
yeah.
keep it moving. And I mean, it's not hard to please people with music. Like, if people are there to see a certain style of music and you're giving them that certain style of music with a certain level of proficiency, they're going to have a good time. But with comedy, you're up there by your damn self. Setup's a whole lot easier. Usually with a comedy gig, you just show up and get ready to talk.
Is it loud enough? We're good to go. See if this metaphor is any better for you then. I would say that music is more like a team sport, and then comedy is more like a solo sport.
Oh, yeah. Comedy is like free solo.
Yeah. I've always loved watching the UFC because of that, because like you're locked in a cage with somebody. I like not only the fights, but I like they call it embedded episodes on YouTube. So like the week before a fight, they'll like follow all the fighters that are on that card.
Okay.
And they'll show them like preparing and like what they do, training and food wise and just life wise. And I've always found it fascinating because as like an office worker, very little of what I do in my day matters. Like I can show up to work hungover, I can show up to work bloated. It just doesn't matter. The job's so easy, I can still do it.
Right.
But if your job's punching and getting punched in the face, like how much more seriously do you take those things? And it feels a little bit like what you're saying with comedy. Like it's just you. So there's like, you have to be so much more aggressive about controlling those variables.
Yeah, you really do.
I fucking bombed so hard last night. I'm still sad about it.
I understand the feeling.
Because I did way better last week. I'm trying to get in this like thing of like, I need to be in like the right mindset to do comedy. Like I can't be going up there like I want to make these people laugh. I need to be like, what are the emotions I felt? Like what are these the jokes, like the emotions that I was in when I was writing? How do they make me feel?
Right.
And like I totally blanked on my warm-up routine, and I just went up on stage and ate shit so hard. As soon as I went off, I knew exactly. I was like, I don't know if the warm-up routine would have made it better, but it wouldn't have hurt.
Right.
You fucking idiot. So now it's like not only did I bad, but I did bad because I didn't do the thing I said would help me not do bad.
I mean, that's the weird thing, right? Is like you have to go up there and not give a fuck about the audience.
Yeah.
But kind of the whole thing is trying to get a reaction from the audience.
I have to do a warm-up to not care too much about them.
There's like a catch-22 happening there.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care about you, but please fucking love me so much.
Yeah.
Give me all your love.
I don't care about you, but you should care about me.
Yeah. Right. We're like the fuckboys of the entertainment industry. Just moving through them.
I mean, we have to be a little bit broken, right? To think that you're the most important person in the room to go talk into a microphone.
I sat down with a piece of paper for 10 minutes before I got up here. You better fucking love it.
I mean, I think the most telling thing is that even when the room is dead for everybody, each person walks up there with like, yeah, but
I got this.
I got this.
Yeah.
Right.
It was them, not the room.
God. If we were sane at all, we would have watched the first 4 comics go up last night and been like, I'm not doing that shit. Fuck this.
Before your set, you're like, yeah, but I kind of know what I'm doing up there, so.
I got this.
No, it's not the audience, it's the comedian, and once I get up there, they'll understand that.
Right.
And then you just bomb just as hard as everyone else. You're like, no, It really is
No,
the
it's
audience.
because
These
the-
guys suck.
The other
Oh.
guys buried the audience, and they just weren't in a laughing mood by the time it was my turn.
And then Glenn
I
gets
didn't
up there and
also
murders,
suck.
and he's like, okay,
Fuck.
well, I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore.
I know.
Was this 5 years I got invested in this shit?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't know.
Congratulations, Brendan. That was
an investment.
that was a great set last night, Brendan.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
You're really figuring like it was interesting because I booked him for the August show. As you know, when we talked about it, I didn't even bring it up. I just booked him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be doing it as Brendan." I was like, "All right, cool." Like, I've really enjoyed like your just straight joke writing. Like when you've done it, it's been infrequent, but there's been a couple of jokes that I've just been like, "Wow, that was so good." And then, like probably like 3 weeks before, he's like, "What do you think if I did just Glenn?" I was like, "Brendan, I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody. I think you're funny. That's why I'm bringing you up. I'm not here to give you a bunch of rules. I'm here to give you a stage and let you do what you want to do." And then 2 weeks before at Union Street, god damn, like him and Addison just both had like I think they went back to back, just had him and BJ, like all three of them just had just fucking breakout sets, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And Brendan just killed in Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Glenn was just he was their guy, and I feel like Glenn's even taken another level up, so I'm excited to see Glenn in Sheboygan next.
Oh yeah, I did a guestie on that show, so I got to see them all. It's so fun to watch people on actual shows versus the open mic.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see, like, I don't know, the choices they make, if they make choices, you know what I mean?
Or like if it's like a choice, or like that they come off, they're like, fuck, I hate how I did that, and you're
Right,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
it was interesting, yeah, because I've heard you do it.
It's like, oh yeah, you did miss that tag. That's why that joke didn't work.
Yep. Well, it's fun seeing it. Like when I first got into comedy, like it literally was just like specials. You know, that's all people really consumed. It's so fascinating now to see how in love with the process audience members have gotten.
Yeah, I think that's been something that I had a hard time conveying to people when they're like, why would I want to go to an open mic? And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I just love seeing the process of comedy happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love seeing somebody go up with a premise and bomb, and then come back next week and try it again with tweaks and bomb again, and then they come up a week after that and they've tweaked it even more, and maybe now it starts to get a chuckle, and then you watch that thing evolve over months until you see him start to say the words and people get excited. They're like, oh shit, he's going into that bit about faggots or whatever, you know.
Coming for him.
Bundles of sticks or burdensome women, just so we're clear.
Those are the views of the podcast. Well, yeah, and like you said, like when they come up and like do the show, and then like I'm in Sheboygan still enough. Like I love it when people come up, and now that we've had like everybody's been up there like a few times, they're like, oh, I loved how like somebody like added that tag to that joke or something. Like they're paying attention, they're in it. They're like, oh, this joke, like I love this joke, I love hearing it again. So it's like I found like I feel like it's a good rhythm right now.
Well, it's also cool that, like, especially since I know they're paying attention when I go up there. What is it, the 18th?
18th or 19th?
Whatever. When we go up there this month, I'm going to watch my set that I did the last 2 times, and I'm going to try to not do anything
from those
that I've done the last 2 times I've been up there.
Yeah.
So my hope is that they're going to think they're going to see me do, you know, one of the jokes they've seen before, and I'm going to have a brand new set that they've never seen before and be like, holy, what the fuck? Where do these come from? They don't need to know I've been doing it for 10 years. Just sitting on everything.
But that's what the whole magic is. Like, that's the hypnotism of it. Like, they see just, like, you going up and they're like, this guy just goes up there and talks shit. Yeah. They don't see the 8 million times you've tried it. They don't see... And it's so interesting because now that like they're fans of it and they know how it's written, if you're still good enough, they'll still believe like that's on the spot. That's the most beautiful thing, when you can still you can craft something for years and years and years and then make it feel authentically original for somebody.
I mean, do you guys remember when Dane Cook albums were out?
Dude, it's so embarrassing. That was my intro to I was like
Same.
I was like 15 and I had the first iPod. And that was the first thing. I downloaded Maroon 5, which I also hate myself for. And Dane Cook.
Jane?
Songs About Jane still slaps.
That
They were actually alternative rock at that point.
Yes, yeah, they hadn't gone full pop R word yet.
Yeah. But yeah, Dane Cook just screaming in cadence. It wasn't really...
like, that was like... Everybody was quoting that. Like, that was the first time I'd seen... Well... I mean, Dice was the first, where it was like you could play the hits of his comedy. Like, You know what I mean? People were just like,
My introduction to comedy was Dane Cook's greatest hits.
yeah, right. And I mean, that's kind of gone by the wayside, don't you think?
Well, because it went from like that to Chappelle's show. Like everybody was quoting everything from that. I feel like it's starting to come back though.
You
Like
really
people are
Chappelle
quoting
was-
like Gillis jokes and
Chappelle's
stuff.
show was before Dane Cook blew up.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah,
Am I
Chappelle's
messing
show
up
was
that
when I was
timing
in
up
high
then?
school.
Chappelle show was. They were about the same time.
I want to
Because
say.
Dane Cook was in movies in the early 2000s. So
Yeah, the albums that he had that blew up, I want to say were like
2006, I want to say.
Brendan, will you look that up?
04, 05.
Yeah.
And then Chappelle's show, I know, was in high school because I remember it was like when video streaming had first started, so it was like around 01, 02.
Damn.
I think
Fucking that
Tourgasm was 08.
Yeah, yep, I think you're right. Actually, I think it was before that.
Well, I believe it came out. I think it happened like 06.
Yeah.
But I believe it came out 08.
It does feel like
You're right.
like storytelling. Like jokes became longer though too.
You don't really have the breakup into bits after. I feel like Pandora really did a lot for comedy
Mm-hmm.
because it would break up the bits and then you would just get somebody else. But now you don't really have the breakup of bits. You just listen to the full, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But
Yeah.
I do like the trend of specials getting shorter. You
Yeah.
know? I think a special.
I think 25 minute
minutes.
specials are where it's at.
Oh yeah, you can do 25 minutes of fury,
Yeah.
and not only that, but you could do like one of those every year and have it make sense.
Yeah. Well, that's especially like my show. It's like doing the first couple. Like we definitely shorten the time. Like I aim for like about like it has to be an hour. As soon as I hit the hour mark, I'm ready for it to be like you can tell the audience is like it
Yeah.
needs to be powerful past an hour.
Yeah. No, I mean 90 minutes is, as far as I can tell, the absolute max for a comedy show.
We as a society are so obsessed with like reinventing the wheel and figuring things out. Like there is a reason why most television shows are 22 minutes long. That's not by accident.
Commercials.
Well, commercial, but that's like the time. Like it's not hour long shows.
Right.
It's not hour and then 45. Like most shows are
Yeah.
22 minutes because that's like when you're talking about like a set length, like that 25-minute special. Like 22 minutes is about like why are phone numbers 7 digits? Because that's all you can hold in your head at a time. Like there's reasons
Blocks
why
of
these.
3s and 4s are easy.
There's a reason why you see these patterns and timing all over the place.
It's also like the people at the very top of the game put out an hour special, and then everyone else is just like, well, that's the standard.
That's what I got to do.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's true.
Which, like, well, that's the standard for the top of the game.
Right.
Maybe you should be focused on where you're at.
Yeah, like George Carlin and Richard Pryor could actually keep people's attention for an hour.
That is a crazy. In snowboarding, when I was young, everyone was wearing bandanas in the winter because that's what you saw in the pro magazines, and they were terrible. They would get covered with snot and they would freeze up. Guys in the bandanas, they were on Mount Hood in the summer, and they were wearing them so they didn't get sunburned.
Yeah.
But they're that transmission, you
they
see
look
see
cool.
the pros doing an hour, and you're like, oh,
Yep.
that must be what I have to do. I have to do an hour.
Right.
You don't realize they're out in the sun. George Carlin's sunny.
Yeah,
You're in Michigan.
exactly.
You should probably do a 5-minute special.
I mean, Eddie Murphy wore a leather suit.
Raw.
It's true.
Then lots of people started wearing leather suits.
That's true. Dude, they started making carpet. They put it on the walls.
That's right.
America gets too wild with stuff. We're crazy. We're a
It's
crazy
true.
country.
Domestic whites are out of control.
True. Blaze your own saddle.
Amen to that.
Yeah, paddle your own canoe.
I think it's about time to move on over to the Patreon.
Yeah, I think we've about ran this one out.
I've gotten a couple messages asking about what happened to Scott Whitcop. We are still friends, just a dispute we had, and
We wish the best to him.
yeah, I don't want to get too into it. It's
Well, I will. Fuck him.
yeah.